Look, everybody, I've got a 6.4 liter. I'm cool. Good morning, everybody. This is Frank D83, and we're back with our wonderful project, a Ford 6.4 liter, the infamous 6.4. A lot of us like that little sound that it makes. You make a few little modifications here and there. You can, really hear that turbo spooling up. But there's something that I want everybody to know before you go out and find one. Ooh, it's such a great price and it's such a good deal. That sound that you like hearing go down the road and stuff, there's a price for that sound. That sound is not free. That sound will be paid for with blood, sweat, tears, and a lot of money. So, this video today is going to be about doing a partial body lift. If you're doing any serious work on this 6.4 liter, I recommend you do at least a partial body lift. Some people call it the alligator lift, but basically what we're going to do is unbolt the front 6 body mount bolts, leaving the 2 in the rear underneath the cab, leaving them just loose. So that basically what we can do is we can tilt up the body away from the frame. What that's going to do is give us a lot of room back here to do any work on the rear part of the engine, any part of the exhaust, anything having to do with the turbo, anything having to do with the high pressure fuel pump. You're going to need to get some access back there. I'm making this video because I've seen several out there where guys are getting their hands back here and trying to do it, and some have successfully done it. Kudos to you. I can't. But you can see there's not much clearance that we have back here. It's about 1.5 inches. That's about 3.5 inches. And back over here, looking at about 3.5. About 3.5 inches clearance. So you got anywhere from 1.5 to 3.5 inches. You've got a triangular shaped flanges back there from the up pipes going into the turbo. If you can get your hands down in there and you've got the right wrenches and whatnot, kudos to you. This video might not be for you then. Knock yourself out. But I have done this procedure that I'm going to show you about 20 times already. I've got a damaged high pressure fuel pump seal, which is spitting oil and vapor out the back. Very, very disheartening, but you know what? It's all a part of. It's just a part of the price you're going to pay to hear that sound. But I'm going to go over some of the tools, some of the bolt sizes and whatnot that you're going to need to get a partial body lift up. This body lift I'm going to do with just 2 blocks of 2x4. Okay, well, 2x6, whatever, 2x8. 1.5 inches thick on the wood is the point, 2 of them. So you're going to lift it about 3 inches. If you're going to do it with 3 blocks underneath, it can be done. You have even obviously more room in the back. But I recommend you disconnect and drain and recover the refrigerant in your AC system. We'll take a little look around right now, and just to give you a quick rundown of what we're going to be doing. I'm already draining the coolant, okay? So that's step number 1. You got to drain the coolant. And I'm going to take you a little tour around the top. The engine's pretty much complete right now, so just to give you an idea of what you're going to need and what you're going to have to do to get that body lift up. Okay, guys, here she is in all her glory. Starting right off, we're going to disconnect the mass airflow sensor, the air filter sensor. These are going to be 8mm or 5/16 will work as well. The clamp for the air intake. If you're going to take this off for just doing the body lift in and of itself, you really don't need to take off the intake, but I'm going to be getting there in the back, so I'm going to take it off anyway. So all your clamps are going to be similarly sized. The ECM, which is back here, is going to be coming off. That's just to prevent any strain that you might encounter, so make sure that's freed up. Again, the coolant is being drained as we speak. The intake line is going to be an 11 millimeter. These are all common also. The ones up in front also is an 11 millimeter. You got to loosen this one up to allow this portion to go up, because all this here, the whole front end of the truck, is going to be going up. So I loosened this one. I loosened this one just to be safe in case it snags or something like that. It'll pop off right here. But for sure, this one needs to be loosened. The batteries, obviously, disconnect your batteries because this is going to be going up. These are 10 mils right here. These are 10, these are 8. Take off your battery on both sides, okay? Positive and negative terminals. This line coming out of the turbo does not need to be loosened. It needs to be taken off from the bottom though, okay? Same thing, 11 millimeter. I'm going to be removing both of my fuel cooler lines, but again, it's because I'm going to have to get to the back to the fuel pump. On a regular body lift, this does not need to be loosened. The steering shaft. The steering shaft does need to be loosened. Definitely, that's one of the most important things. Okay, back in here, we'll see the steering shaft. There it is right there. That's a 13 millimeter bolt. It's, I believe it's a one-time use only. I just put some more Loctite on there and it'll come off. Okay, that steering shaft is very important. That needs to come off. If you're only doing 2-block or a 3-block lift, you do not need to remove your power steering lines in the master cylinder. Okay. Again, if you feel more comfortable doing that, fine. I'm telling you, I don't. I've done it 50 times. Your power steering reservoir, I already started and took off the secure bolt here. It slides in to the radiator shroud down in there. So once you loosen this up here, you've got to lift it up and get it out of that slot down there. Your upper radiator hose needs to come off. Your line that goes into the degas bottle right there, that needs to come off. You need to have some long needle nose pliers to grab that thing as soon as you start taking it off, or have a couple spares on you, because when that little clip flies off, it is going to go into automotive cyberspace and you will never find it again. So I recommend you get a little pick, start to pull it off, grab it with your needle nose pliers, and then go to the other side and take that off. Hold on to it. That will disappear on you. There's not really much else that needs to be done up here on top for the partial body lift. And I'm going to take some measurements when it's done to tell you how much more room you're going to have back here. Again, I don't know why you would try to do this with the body down when it can be done in about an hour. Okay, down on the bottom, you're going to have the A bolts here, B bolts, C bolts, D bolts in the back. Okay, they're all 15 millimeter. All right, you're going to need probably an 8-inch extension, probably all the way in the back. You might need a little bit more, 16 inches maybe, so that you can get some good leverage on the torque wrench or on your breaker bar. Over on the right side, right under here, you've got your emergency cable that you're going to have to take off. You don't want to be straining the cable, and the cable stops when you're lifting the body. The same thing on this side. This one's going to be loose. That one's coming off. That one's coming off. The one up front is coming off. 15 millimeter. Okay, if this is your first time attempting this, you must heat up those bolts. Okay, do not try to force them off. Do not take them off with an impact wrench. Okay, the cage bolts that are inside your floorboard, okay, are pretty loose, but the cage that's around them will hold them if you take them off carefully. Okay, first time I did it, you get a torch, and you're going to heat it up to loosen up that the Loctite on there. Okay. If you put a large impact wrench on there and that cage spins, you're going to have to be lifting up carpeting and taking out plugs and finding a way to grab onto that cage bolt, and it's a pain in the butt. Okay, heat it with a torch, get it real nice and hot. You know, that's all steel. There are steel plates that are protecting that are going to be protecting the rubber mount. Heat them up real nice and hot, and just take your time. They will come off. Okay. And then you'll be able to reuse them. Throw some more Loctite on there, put them right back up there, okay? the reason or my inspiration for this video came from when I was trying to replace a high pressure line that I accidentally busted, putting this engine back in there. I was on the phone with my cousin, giving him some automotive tech advice, and in the time that I was speaking with him, I was prepping everything. Yeah, I'm talking with him. She eventually lifted it up, and it was an hour and 12 minutes while I was on the phone from start to finish to lift up the cab. So why, if you're going to be doing work on your turbos, high pressure pump, never mind take the heads off and whatnot, if you're going to be doing that type of work, there's no reason why you shouldn't lift the cab, to get yourself some more room to work with, okay? And again, it's very simple tools. 15 millimeter, 8 millimeters, or 5.66, the yellow handled nut driver, right? Some needle nose pliers for the pins there in the back. 11 mil for the turbo pipes. That's pretty much it. What am I using to lift the body? Let's go over that. Okay, this is the setup that I have. It's a simple high lift jack. This is the low profile jack from Harbor Freight. Nothing fancy schmancy, right? I happen to have a chunk of railroad tie available. If not, you're gonna need something comparable. You want it to be more or less about this wide and definitely this tall. We're looking at right at 14 inches tall, okay? And about 16 inches wide, okay? Obviously I need to take it down before I slide it in there and get it under there, but you can get a real nice placement on the body, on the front cross beam of the body to lift the whole thing up. Okay, and again, you got a creeper, 15 millimeter, you can spin around. The truck is tall enough to just slide all the way underneath. The truck is not on ramps. You don't need jack stands to hold it up. Man, that's bright. Okay. I started this project today at 10 a.m. Just to let you know, I'm going to go ahead and film it all the way through. I'll give you the time at the end just to show you how fast it can be done. And this is while filming, stopping, moving the camera. I'm going to be showing you different views of where you can attach the body or grab onto the body or whatnot. Again, for this partial lift, you don't need to remove the negative battery terminal from the engine block. I know there's a couple of procedures out there. You don't need to remove that. The ground wire that attaches the frame to the underneath the driver's door, the ground wire, the ground strap that's there, you don't need to remove that. You do need to take off the emergency brake, and that's about it, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and start filming now, and I'll tell you, even with filming and everything, how fast this can be done, and the room that we're gonna have afterwards. All right, here we go. All right. Yeah, it sucks getting old. Anyway, be careful when you take this little lock pin off. When you, here's a tip. All these little locking pins, they're easily available. They've got them even at the O'Reilly's, the AutoZone. But hold on to them. You don't want this to happen to you, on a Saturday night when you decide, oh, I can do this. It's going to take an hour and it ends up taking 10. Yeah. It's part of the price, brother. Anyway, I recommend you put all these back. As soon as you disconnect them, put them back. You'll see a lot I'm putting a lot of the bolts and stuff that you take off. It's probably a good habit just to put them back, A lot of guys that do this on a regular basis and they know where everything goes and they just throw everything into a big bucket. No problem. Do it. You do you, all right? I'm just telling you, it's a bitch when you're trying to find something at the last minute and you can't find this thing because it was in the bucket, but if your luck's like my luck, it's going to snag on something, you pull it out, and it's going to disappear, all right? So nevertheless, let's continue. Okay, next I'm ready to loosen up the steering column. You can do it with a 13 millimeter right through here with a long-ass extension. That'll work. I've done it like that many times. You can also reach your hand in between the wheel well and the frame and get to it there. That's a little more cumbersome and you're going to be kind of at an odd angle, but it can be done. All right? And that's where it leads you. I hope you can see that. Obviously, you want a longer extension. You don't get a longer one. Got to get yourself tools, not necessarily everything from the tool truck, but you got to get some tools, make things a lot faster. And again, you can access it from underneath. And again, only because I've done this several times already, you can actually separate it with one hand. And then I'm going to put the bolt right back, all right? But you've got to separate the steering shaft for sure. Done. I already separated it and put the shaft back. All right, guys. I've got the bolts loose. After I get them loose, that you'll find that they're really easy to cut, but they're long. They're really long bolts, okay? I put it on a drill with a 1/2-inch drive on there, just to give you an idea, I guess. I don't know, it's showing off and shit, but I'm going to go around, but just to show you how fast it can be done, and I'm not gonna be killing myself to do it. I'm gonna do it in regular time. This is what I mean. I don't understand why you would sit there struggling with all that crap. I don't understand. Whatever, to each their own, right? All right, here we go. And again, they're already loose, right? But I'm just going to finish them off with a drill. And we're done. All right, that's my extension. This is what we're looking at. They should come off. Make sure you can pull the bolt out completely before you try to struggle with getting off the caps. But this is what the body mount looked like. Again, I swapped mine out a long time ago for polyurethane. That's it. They're off. All right, we're under the rig. First thing you're going to do with a pair of vice grips, you can put a rag over this if you want. You probably should to protect it, but, I'm not going to. It would be best probably to do so. All right. So we're going to pull on this, clamp it down to lock it, and this will stay loose. All right? Step number 1. like so. Now your clamp is loose. Next, with our trusty needle nose, we are going to hook it into, get a little closer if I can. God damn it. We're going to hook one end into that hole you see there and the other end here on the back, and squeeze to just barely get this pin, this locking lug here, just to get it loose, all right? Wish I could do it to where you guys could see it, but here, maybe you can see it there. One end in the hole, where the hell are we? One end in the hole, the other end on the locking lug, and squeeze. Takes a little practice, but you'll get it. And again, mine moves because I just did it not too long ago, all right? You'll see here on the back, of course you can see better on the other side. On the back, it's just barely moved. In fact, I believe you can see this little slot right here. Just get it to move. That's all you want. Once you get it to move, you can get a small screwdriver, get it in there, and just twist. Like so, and twist it until you can twist it all the way, all right? And then you'll see, hopefully, there you go. You can see on the front side, this locking lug moved a lot farther forward. Kind of wiggle it a little bit, twist it a little bit. It's that simple. Yeah, that's a lot less babbling than my other videos, so there you go. Okay, you might be looking upside down, but if you're, again, if you're going to be working on 6.4, you better get used to this. This is where you want that beam to go, right there. I showed you guys a couple of pictures of the way you want your jack setup to be. The most important thing is make sure you've got the jack centered in the center of the truck, and make sure that your load is directly under the lifting portion of the jack, okay? You don't want the wood to be contacting the truck at one point and to have the jack lifting up from another point. Your supports are going to start to tumble. If you see them start to tumble, stop, drop it, and readjust, okay? We're trying to do this as safe as possible. This is the way I do it, okay? Me. Again, even as you're lifting up, you'll start to see those, you see the blocks start to move. Do this number, stop, drop it, readjust, and then go, okay? Let's go ahead and start lifting up on it. We're going to go a little bit, and then you stop. If I forgot something, we're going to find out, you and me together right now. So go around. I'm going to double check that the steering linkage didn't accidentally just kind of almost connect. I'm going to check my hoses to make sure everything is clear here. This hose should actually be underneath, but this doesn't really have a big difference. Make sure that we've removed our power steering reservoir. Battery cables are loose. My emergency cable is loose, see? You check for like, oh, I forgot the vice grips on there, things like that. You know, I'm trying to make a video and stuff like that, but take your time, stop, go around and check. Not only did I leave this on there, but I didn't loosen the cable out, okay? You want to take your high pressure line. It's got a little lock next to the battery tray. You want to pop it out of that, so to allow the battery tray to come on up. Oh, wow. We're already up pretty high. Okay, we're already up this high. We're pretty close already, all right? Let's slide one in there. See, in fact. Oh, another tip. Your wheel well, if you need to get back there in the back, take off the wheel well now because you will trap it under there, okay? And we're pretty close. there it is. That's that one. Now mine tend to go up a little bit crooked. The passenger side tends to go up a little faster. Yeah, see? No, there we go. Now, you don't want to be shoving that beam all the way in there, okay? You don't want it to interfere with the radiator or anything when you start dropping the body down. So, let's get them square like this. This is the way you want it to go in, and you just want it to get past that platform there. Like so. Just like that. Just enough to support the weight, okay? And that's it. The body's lifted. You can go ahead and drop it. That's it. It's down. It's 1108. But you can see yourself how much more room you got back there. Okay, I'm trying to do this. Now, we've got 5.5 inches of clearance to the turbo shield. I mean, you've got a lot of clearance back here now to work with. Okay, I mean, that's 7 inches right there. You know, 4.5 inches. Never mind over here. I mean, you just got a ton of space to work with. I mean, and look back here now. I mean, it's just a tremendous amount of room. You can get your hands back here, you know, with no problem. Plenty of room back here for all of this. Okay, here are your up pipes connections to the turbo. So why you wouldn't do it this way, I don't know. But nevertheless, that's it, guys. That's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Any questions, comments, things you see I did wrong, things you liked, feel free to comment below. And again, there's a price for that sound. It's going to balance. The joy that you get out of that sound is going to be balanced by the pain you feel working on this thing. Welcome to 6.4 land.